In a dramatic escalation of tensions, India has expelled 6 Canadian diplomats from the country, including the acting High Commissioner Stuart Ross Wheeler. Earlier in the day, it had recalled its High Commissioner and key diplomats from Canada. This after they were named persons of interest in the killing of Khalistani separatist leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar. He was gunned down by masked men outside a Gurudwara in British Columbia in June of 2023. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau accused Indian diplomats of engaging in activities that he said posed a significant threat to public safety.
Thank you, Prime Minister. The ministers will remain to take.
The evidence brought to light by the RCMP cannot be ignored. It leads to one conclusion. It is necessary to disrupt the criminal activities that continue to pose a threat to public safety in Canada. That is why we acted, because we will always, first and foremost, stand for the rights of Canadians to feel safe and secure in their own country. We will never tolerate the involvement of a foreign government threatening and killing Canadian citizens on Canadian soil, a deeply unacceptable violation of Canada's sovereignty and of international law.
Moreover, Trudeau also spoke with his UK counterpart Keir Starmer about what Canada called targeted campaign by agents linked to the government of India. The Canadian police said on Monday that it has significant amount of information on criminal activity being orchestrated by agents of the Indian government. In an official response, India called the allegations preposterous and ascribed them to the political agenda of Trudeau's government. New Delhi highlighted that Ottawa has failed to provide any evidence since making allegations against Indian officials with regards to the murder of Nijjar more than a year ago, this despite multiple requests. Further, it listed multiple instances since 2018 as evidence of Trudeau's hostility towards India. Earlier, India's foreign ministry summoned Canada's top diplomat. He was told that in the atmosphere of extremism and violence prevailing in Canada, the Trudeau government's actions endangered the safety of India's diplomats. The decision to recall its top diplomat and other targeted officials was also communicated. Meanwhile, amid the diplomatic row between India and Canada, the U.S. State Department has announced that an Indian investigating team would travel to Washington, D.C. on October 15 to investigate a plot to kill a U.S. citizen in New York. As per a report published in Hindustan Times, India has conveyed to the U.S. that it has arrested the person identified as CC1 in a U.S. Department of Justice indictment, which had implicated this person of the assassination plot. All right, let's listen to some of the expert voices on the growing tensions between Canada and India.
The RCMP and tonight the Prime Minister have completely flipped the script, the traditional script on who we should see as the bad guy. Traditionally, we've been instructed to consider that the Khalistanis are the ones using violence and that we must go after them and try to stop them. And now we are being told that no, it's the Indian government that is the problem. They're the ones using violence against these poor, defenseless, persecuted Khalistanis. I exaggerate, but only a little. You noticed, and you were correct, that we didn't talk about the savage history of violence on the part of the Khalistanis in Canada and, of course, beyond.
After what Canadians had done, Indian government was left with no other alternative but to react, and it reacted strongly. Because one needs to understand that Canada's response to terrorism has been varied. There was a time when Emperor Kanishka was blown off, taking off from Canada, but even the perpetrators are even today walking free because they were discharged or released or acquitted for want of evidence. On the other hand, based on a ridiculous story without any figment of proof, the Canadian government has placed these Indian diplomats as persons of interest. And according to Canadian media, have expelled them. Though, of course, the Indian government has said that they have recalled them. That's actually a very, very drastic step. And I think showed very clearly the mentality of the present regime in Canada.
Domestic political factor is clearly prevalent in Trudeau's campaign against India. Trudeau is deeply unpopular in Canada. He's facing mounting pressure to resign. He now leads a government that doesn't even have the support of the New Democratic Party. So it's a minority government. Elections are not due until a year from now. So he's under a lot of pressure to quit. And maybe he's seeking to deflect attention from his problems at home by seeking to act tough against India. So that could be a possibility.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.